Okay, so welcome back to the Venom Workshop. So today, excitingly enough, I'm going to be getting back to working on the Villain Chopper. I did pick up the green. It is a nice lime green, and we are going to start painting some of the parts. I did paint one fender just because I wanted to see what it looked like on there. I'm not going to show you because I don't want you to see yet. But we're going to go ahead and start painting all the accents. And this bar in the back is actually going to be going green too. So is this one here. I think I might even do it to the foot pegs yet. I'm not too sure about the foot pegs just yet. They might just go black. But this swing arm here in the back and this bracket here is definitely going green. The tank, all the accents are going to be going green. And then the front kick plate is going to be green. And I might even go green on the rims yet. I haven't decided. I guess 60s and 70s are over, so chrome is nice. I like chrome, but let's try something a little different. And I think this chrome, the little bit of chrome that is left on the bike then, like here and down here and on the engine, will actually accent the green as well. So I'm going to get started now. So I have some parts over here. I just have them primed, like my front skid plate here. I haven't primed the back of it, but I'm going to give it a quick prime on the back. I don't care what the back looks like so much, but I want to make sure that this gets sanded a little bit. I want to clean up a little bit. I want it to look really nice when it's painted. And so we're going to get started with that. And so I'm going to go ahead and clean the back of this and then prime it, and then we'll get ready to paint. So you'll notice here when I'm painting this, like I'm just using just a cardboard cutout for now. For some of the bigger pieces, I'm going to have to get a little bit more clever, but I don't want to use a paint booth. I want to be able to do this like you would have to do it at home, or I would have to do it at home, whoever. So when it comes to the bigger parts like the tank, some of the fairings that are a little bit bigger, this box is just not going to cut it. Obviously, I'm going to use probably a Jeep crate or an ATV crate, and I'll paint in there. So you see some imperfections here and there, and one of the reasons I buy sandable primer is I can always hit it a quick sand after and clean things up. So if I have like a place where it's just not quite smoothing out, or I need to fix something, I can always just run a real quick sand over the top of it and clean it up. Like down here, give it a quick sand over the top like this, just for any little imperfections. Just like that. See, like that was a little imperfection. All those little imperfections, I'll give them a little sand. And we're not done sanding. After I paint, I like to give it a little bit of a water sand too before I give it one more coat of paint, and then I'll clear coat. That's not too bad. Again, this is just an accent, so you're not going to see much of it. And this one's going to get dinged up pretty bad because this is the skid plate that goes on the bottom. Another thing I like about this primer is it's super fast dry. So I'm going to lift that out of there because I'm going to let it dry. I'll put it back there. But I've already got one piece here. This goes on. It's an accent for the muffler. So we're actually going to give it a quick coat of paint. And then you'll see the green we're working with. And you'll see there's a little bit of dirt here. I'm not going to touch it because there's paint, obviously, and I don't want to get the paint on it. But I'm not going to bother right now. I'm going to wait till after, and then I'll hit it a sand, like I said, before I give it that top coat. And then, so that's the color it's going to be. Just a really, you can't really see it in the camera as well, but it's a really nice lime green. And it does have a nice gloss, but it's going to have a nicer gloss once I get the clear coat on it. So that's the color that part's going to go. So I'm going to start sanding a lot of my fairings because I want to make sure that everything's nice and sanded well, and I'm gonna get all that ready, and then I'll get ready to start painting the bigger parts. But now you can see, and when you do coats of paint like this, you want to go back and forth in uniform stroke every time, and you don't want to put on too much paint. You want to stay back a bit. If you put too much, you're just going to get runs all the way along your paint, and runs are no good because you're going to have to sand them out. So there you go. So that's, like I said, that's the color. It is actually a really nice green, and it's going to look really nice on that bike. Once you see all the different parts come together that are black right now, that are going to be green, this bike's going to look so cool. So I'm going to get going with the rest of this stuff. I'm going to start priming some other parts and stuff that aren't primed yet, and get started doing that, and then we can start putting paint to it. So I'm going to do that, and I will be right back. So I went and got one of my big fairings, and what I did was I gave it just a real quick scuff over with a 600 grit sandpaper, just because I wanted to take out any runs I saw in the primer, and I want to see what this color looks like on here. So I'm just going to give it a real quick over once. Let's see how it turns out. I'm gonna give this again before I'm done. I'm gonna give it another coat after I sand it again. Just wanted to see how it looks with the green on it. I'm already getting a couple runs. And there's a couple hairs on it or something. But now, all them runs are starting to form. Oh, I avoided it. Hit it with my hand. Of course I did. But we can kind of see what it's going to look like now. And like I said, you might catch the odd run, but we'll sand it out before I put my last coat on. I really like that green. It's pretty good. But I see that I've got some hair in there. I don't know how I got the hair in there. There we go. But like I said, I'm gonna give that another sand before I clear coat it or anything. I want it to be nice and smooth. But just the color looks amazing. It's such a nice color. So I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm probably gonna get some other parts together. I have to sand everything really quick with a 600 grit sandpaper or grain. I know a lot of people might disagree with me with what sandpaper I'm using, and to each his own. If you get whatever one you want to use is up to you. I like 600. I find it takes off any sort of runs or anything very nicely, and it really brings the paint together, and it's good for blending. I really like 600 for blending too. So like I said, though, it's to each his own. I don't want to see a whole bunch of comments arguing anything like that. It's just, there's no point in that. I'm just trying to teach you how to repair your bike and restore it at home, and make it look nice again. So I'm gonna, like I said, keep going with my parts here, and I will be right back. You'll kind of see what I'm doing here. I've got like I said, my 600 sandpaper, and I'm just giving it all a scuff. Anywhere I see a run or anything, I'm smoothing it out. I just want to give it a good scuff everywhere, and then I'm gonna put some paint on it. And then after it's painted, I'll sand it again. Get anything else out that I don't like, and then it'll get one more coat of paint, and then it'll get a clear coat on it. But it's just like that, and then I'll wipe it off with a rag just to get the dust off it. And I could use the compressor and blow the air all over it and get the dust off it. But again, I'm trying to do this like you guys would do it at home. Not everybody has a compressor. Somebody might have an apartment and they're doing this. So everybody should be able to do a little bit of body work here and there. It's not difficult to do. I grew up doing it because my family owns a body shop. So I was stuck sanding for a long time when I was young. So there we go. And like I said, even if a little bit of dust gets on it when I'm painting it, it's not a huge deal, because I am again going to sand it again after I'm done. And when I sand it though, I'm going to use a little bit of water and to smooth everything out, get it all nice. And then I'll clean them all off really well before I paint them again. And I'll make sure that there's no dust around, and I'll show you how to do that too, where you can soak stuff with water so you don't have dust around. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a coat of paint on this, and I will see you back here very shortly. Okay, so I got all my parts painted now, and they're all clear coated. Look at that shine. And they're all ready to go back on. And there's my villain right here. The lighting is terrible, but man, they're cool looking. This is going to be a cool looking bike when it's all put back together. And you'll notice my rear fender is all repaired. No cracks. And what else did I fix? Oh, just above for the seat, the tank where it meets the tank. You'll remember that corner was smashed out and broke. That's all back nice. So there you go, guys. And I did this all in the shop. I didn't take it to a spray booth, nothing like that. I just gave everything a good paint. The light really throws off the color, but it is a lime green. But that's it, guys. So that's our parts. And next week, we're gonna put it all back on and get it back together. And it's gonna be one mean little machine. Okay, so I got all my parts painted here. You see them all done. And like I said, I just gave them one shot of paint. And then I gave them a water sand. So with my 600 grit sandpaper, I sanded everything back down again. And then I gave it one more coat and everything just turned out beautifully. I know you can't really see the green very well with the camera and it's very dark over here. One of my lights went out. But man, it turned out nice. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean up the wheels. You'll see my wheels here. They're really dirty. They're really gross inside too. So I'm gonna clean these. I want them to be nice. I was gonna paint them green, but I thought that I really like the aluminum, so I'm gonna stick with the aluminum, but we're gonna clean them. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this brake rotor off, and I'm gonna get also the sprocket off on the other side, and then I'm gonna go ahead and clean it. Now, when it comes to cleaning or taking these bolts out, they can be a little tough. So usually I like to use an impact. If not, you want to shock these bolts. So hit them a good tap with a hammer before you start and shock them. That'll break the... Steel and aluminum don't really like to go together very well. It creates a compound on the inside. There's a chemical reaction and it makes it very stiff to take off. So you want to shock that first. So just a tap with a hammer. Even sometimes if I'm taking them off with an impact gun, I'll still shock them. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in a sec. I'm just gonna get the camera set up and we'll go ahead and start taking this rotor off. So you take your number 6, and what I want you to do is just put it in each bolt and give it a tap with the hammer. And that's just, like I said, just to shock that bolt. And then we can take our impact gun. I've already shocked all the other ones. It's a little tight in there, but... Okay. Now, let's get my impact gun. And I'm just going to grab my small one for now. Let's see if it takes them out. No, the little girl doesn't want to do it. So, we'll go to the bigger girl. This old girl will do it. It's just mean. There we go. And most times these bolts have Loctite on them. That's why they're under there. So get a socket like that. Just give it a tap and it'll come out. All right, let's take it out with this one now. And you are going to get some that are hard like that. So we'll get a bar and break it. So, now I'm just going to put my tire down so I can put some weight on it. Now I'm broke free. There we go. And that's it. I loosened all of them off. So now, there we go. Now we got our bolts all out. I will Loctite them when I put them back on, and I'm going to clean up that rotor nice too. But now we have full exposure to our rim here, so I can get some cleaner in here and clean this all up. So let's flip the other one over here, and we're gonna have the same on this side. This time it's just gonna be a bolt, a nut that holds it on. So we're gonna take that off, and it's gonna be, like I said, the same way. Not too sure what size those are, maybe 12 or 13. 13, I think. Maybe 4. Yep, 14 it is. Okay. Again, an impact gun is going to help you a lot here. If not, we might have to take the keyway off right here first for this rim. So let's do that. Of course, don't have the set of pliers over here, but I guess I can take it off with needle nose if I want. There we are. Just tap it up. There we are. Got our sprocket off. I'll tighten these back up to the right way. And we can clean all this rim out now too. All these bushings are good. Doesn't seem like there's any wear there or anything. So we can go ahead and start cleaning this up. It's disgusting. Look at my hands. All right, so I am going to get a bunch of rags and stuff, and we can start brake cleaning this and get it all cleaned up. Okay, so now we're just gonna start with a little brake clean. A little brake clean. But before I start that, I would like to put some cardboard down here or something. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna grab some cardboard because I want to clean everything up here before I put this all back together. So I'm just gonna grab some cardboard and I will be right back. I got my cardboard down here, so I'm gonna give it a liberal spray of brake clean, and it's just gonna start taking that grease right off. I'm just gonna rag. Start wiping everything. Brake clean is such a nice degreaser. There might be some nicks and stuff in your rim that you can't do anything about, but we're gonna clean them up the best we can. You can't really see it yet, but it's coming. For a first go over, it's cleaning up pretty nice. These are beautiful aluminum rims. They're just a little bit dirty. Now, if you see it, now it's starting to clean up a lot more inside. So that's a good start for this side. Like it's a rough start, but it's a good start because now when I'm spraying, I don't want it just to keep leaking all that dirty stuff down to the other side. So I'll do this side first, and then I'll do a second round where I clean it up even more. I know it's hard to see on the camera, but this rim looks 10 times better already. When I do the last pass here, I'm gonna get a clean rag. Right now I just want to get as much of the dirt as I can. And already that rim looks so much better. It's got a lot better, cleaner look to it. Now I'm just gonna go get a new rag, because this one's completely black, and then I'll finish giving it a wipe, and it should be nice and clean, and we can start putting our swing arm and everything back on our bike, and get it all back together. So I got a new rag, and I'll just finish, give it a quick clean up here. It already looks 10 times better than it did. Now we'll switch it over to the other side. I'm gonna give it a quick wipe on this one now. There. Now that rim looks so much better already. Just gonna give it a all these little designs. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies you have to get into. That. I'm gonna do this side now. There we go. And that looks brand new again. So now we just have to put our brake rotor back on. Before I put my brake rotor back on and my sprocket though, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna clean them really fast. And once we get them cleaned up, we'll put everything back together, and we'll get this wheel back on. Our rotor's all cleaned up, put back on. Nice and easy. Now, put my rag here. I don't want to put my rotor down on that dirty cardboard. Okay, there we go. All right, now we're just going to clean up the sprocket same way. It's really dirty, and I want to get all that grease and oil off it before I put it back together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to get this wheel out of the way first. Look at how nice and clean that wheel is now. It looks so much nicer. But I want to use that my crappy rag here to do my sprocket. So there. gonna give my chain a good wipe too, and then I'll re-oil it after. I just don't want all that black back on everything. Wipe like that. Alrighty, so I'm going to just tighten up my bolts here, and then I'll be right back. So now we can put our sprocket back on. Sprocket, you just want to put it on and line up your holes with these holes here. Just like that. And there's a washer goes on first. And then your snap ring goes in place. Excuse me needle nose again because I'm too lazy to go get the pliers. There we go. It's snapped in place. Yeah, it's perfect. So now my sprocket's back on, rotor's done. And you could give it another cursory spray if you see a little bit of dirt somewhere or something. Just something to give it a really quick wipe after. Over, take a look at the other side, make sure it's nice and clean. There we go. So that's one wheel clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start putting my swing arm and everything back on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the whole bike over here where I have more light and get ready to get the tire on. Once I get the back tire on, then I'll lift the front of the bike. Right now, the way it's sitting, it's not going to want to lift up without the back on. So I'll go ahead and get the back put back together, and then I can get the tire up. And once I get the tire up, I can get the front tire off, and I'll do the same thing. Okay, so now I'm ready to put my swing arm back on. So I'm going to shrink down here a bit because I'm going to get a lot closer. And I've got my bolts out already. Don't mind this piece here where it's a little bit black or green. Actually, I might hit that a shot of black before I do this. I'm gonna dry for a minute. No, my part's actually gonna go over the top of that, and you're not gonna see it anyway. No, I'm gonna paint that. I can't leave that like that. So I'm gonna take my swing arm. I'll just put it in the way. And I'm just going to get the black paint, and I shall return. Alright, so I already touched that up with the black. So I don't think any really much go on this side. Yeah, so we're good on this side. I'm going to grab my swing arm again. Okay. So now I have to lift it up and put those bolts in. I also want to have my my rear shock bolt in place or ready too. These go in like this. I want to check that nut first. trying to thread this nut on here. It's not very fun. I don't like the way it's threading on there. I don't know if it's the nut or the bolt, but it's not threading on there right. Yeah, we'll try the nut after. It actually goes in like this, so. Okay. So now all I have to do is lift the swing arm up into place. Oops. I'm going to start that the right way. I just want to get this started there so I can start the other one. So I have to pull that pin out again. I don't want to cross thread anything, so I'm going to go ahead and start my bolt. See, I've already scratched it right there, so I'm going to have to touch that up, and I'll break back. Alright, let's try this again. So I did touch everything up. I might have to touch it up again just where the shock is sitting, but I want to get this started. Shock into place first. Shock is really marking it up. shock right on top of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zip tie my shock up so it's out of the friggin' way. Again, I'm going to have to touch this up again because it's got hit by the shock again. Not a real noticeable spot, but still, it's annoying me. I'm going to zip tie my shock up. Here, I think there's a bar. Yep. There you go. There we are. All right. So my shock's enough out of the way. I just want to go ahead and get my swinging bolts started. There. There. See kind of what's up in here. Chain, I want to be careful and bring it over like that. Should be lift it up enough that I can straighten my other bolt. There we go. Nope, not in the center. That I can see. That side's in. There we go. So our swing arm's in. I have to set up my shock a little better, but I'll get that done and I'll be right back. Okay, so my swing arm is fully on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up here and I'm going to put on my front accent piece right here, but it's not just an accent piece. I have to run the rear brake before I put the tire on. And if I'm going to run the rear brake, I have to put that bracket on first because that's what the rear brake all mounts to. So I am going to put in, I want to put in new bolts, so I went and grabbed a bunch of new bolts. Because if I can, wherever I can, I'm going to put some new bolts in. So this just goes up here. Go ahead and just put one in. And you don't have to put them in tight, just put them in that they're... that I can move stuff around. So I'm going to go ahead and put one in back here. And I'm just going to go to the other side and do the same. And once I get it where I want it, I can tighten them up. Alright, so now I can tighten these into place. Okay, do the other side. Okay. There. There we go. So now we got that bracket in place and our swing arm is in place and ready to go. So what I'm going to do now, I got to get my brake line and get ready to run it all the way to the back. And we can get our rear tire almost ready to mount up here. So I'm going to get everything ready and then we'll get started on that. So before I install my brakes and my back tire, I want to put this fender on first. So I got this rear fender right here. It goes down in here. I'm just going to give it actually a little light coat of paint on the inside. Just so you don't see the glue as much. It's going to be a real quick coat. It's just a tiny, tiny little coat, so the inside looks a little bit green. The rest of it. So I'm just gonna let that dry. It should take maybe a second or two. This paint dries pretty fast, and then I'll be right back. All right, so I should be able to get going now with it. So now this goes in. I'm just gonna put the bolts in at the back there. Bolts through the other way. Put that bolt through the wrong way. That. There we go. Should have another one up there to start. Dropped it. All right, well, I'm gonna grab that and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm getting my seat fairing on. So there's just on these, there's just fairing bolts that hold them in on each side. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get my fairing bolts in. I'm gonna put new fairing bolts. I don't want to use old ones if I don't have to. Okay. So there's 3 fairing bolts that right up at the front here. This side. Long enough. No. Sorry, I have a longer one. Okay. Now the bottom ones are a little bit different. We have this style right here, and that's for putting on our other green fairing. We have to put these on first. So they have to be screwed in right here. On both sides. That. On this side. There we go. Jeez, it's starting to look so cool. Now, before I can put them fairings on, I have to actually, excuse me, put the battery in. So I gotta get the battery on. Now that my fairing is on though, I can also line up my air filter for my nibby carb. I was waiting to see where it would end up. I really like air filter for the nibby. On this one it's gonna stick out. And I actually want it to stick out. It actually looks really neat when it does. So I'm gonna grab a screwdriver to tighten this up. Actually go just like that. Actually, I kind of like that, So, I'm gonna put my hose clamp on first. There we go. It's all the way on the curb. So, I'm gonna tighten it up just like that. Just before I put the battery on, I want to put my seat on too. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and it's just these 10 mil nuts. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I shall return.